Wow, wow. It is said that truth can never hide itself. Just imagine where the federal government is saying a different thing from what the state governors of the same political party is saying as compared to what the Supreme Court is saying. Men of wisdom are saying that this is absolute disregard for the Supreme Court judgment, which said that the federal government should allow for the old notes to continually be a legal tender. You can imagine what is going on in the country. Where is the House of Reps? Where is the Senate? All those who come out and speak so much grammar all the time. What is actually going on? Is this actually the God of Peter Obi working? Now, I begin to wonder, just sit back and listen to what El-Rufai said. It's like opening the can of worms. Just like what the Labour Party vice presidential candidate has said, that the words of El-Rufai in the press statement is a treasonable offense. You need to see what El-Rufai said in this press statement. Just sit back and listen. I'll be right back to tell you a lot that you really need to know, especially as it has to do with what is going on in our country.
Is this not a clear case of economic sabotage? It is bad economics to so curtail economic activity and the velocity of circulation of money. It is also insensitive to deliberately cause cash shortage and then seek to instigate the public against the mostly innocent commercial banks. Even the most honest and prudent action by banks cannot magically make 400 billion to look like 2.1 trillion or have the same spread and availability like the central bank should have ensured. As a regulator, the Central Bank of Nigeria should not be seen to be setting up the banking sector as the public enemy to cover up the glaring failure in its design and implementation of the so-called cash swap policy. We have repeatedly appealed to the federal government to allow whatever remains of the old notes to circulate concurrently with the new notes. We recommended that the federal government should also hasten to ensure that more of the new notes are printed and brought into circulation. We thought that if the Nigerian Mint is incapable of printing the volume of cash needed as it appears, then necessary steps must urgently be taken to get a reliable supply source. There is no reason why the old notes and the new notes should not coexist until the old notes are gradually withdrawn over the years, as is done in the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, and many other countries. It is unfortunate that in implementing this policy, Nigeria is departing from global best practice without any compelling justification. The Kaduna State government did all this not in opposition to any person or authority, but because we stand with our people and their interests. When it was clear that our recommendations would not be seriously considered, the Kaduna State government decided, along with the governments of Kogi and Zamfara states, to declare a dispute with the federal government of Nigeria. In line with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, we approached the Supreme Court of Nigeria to invoke its original jurisdiction to hear us and the cries of our people. The court did on February 8th and ordered that the deadline of February 10th for all the old notes ceasing to be legal tender to be rescinded until the determination of the suit. This ruling applies to the federal government and its agencies like the Central Bank of Nigeria and indeed all commercial banks. We are grateful to the Supreme Court for this ruling, and we had hoped that compliance by the CBN and the banks would bring relief to our people. It is now clear that the architects of this policy are determined to continue to inflict maximum pain on the citizens to achieve their objectives outlined earlier. It was our hope that the federal government of Nigeria would welcome the injunction issued by the Supreme Court as an opportunity to mitigate the needless human suffering being experienced and correct its course on this matter. There is no emergency situation that justifies the rushed and seemingly deliberate incompetent execution of this policy. We suggested that compliance with the ruling would include adopting a whole-of-government approach that involves the agencies of the federal government and state governments in modifying the design, execution, and implementation of the policy. Even when confronted with the facts above, the CBN and its masters remain determined to implement their agenda no matter how much human suffering, death, and destruction results. It is clear that the architects of this policy always had objectives that are totally in conflict with public interest, peace, and the unity of Nigeria. They neither considered our suggestions in line with the court order, nor respected the unanimous resolution of the Council of State. It is also quite revealing that the federal government and its agencies not only disobeyed the February 8th ruling by continuing to say the February 10th deadline stands, it is also shocking to see the blatant violation of the subsisting and continuing order of the Supreme Court that all the old and new notes should continue to be legal tender until it gives judgment in the case filed by the Kaduna State government along with several others. The address by the President earlier this morning, limiting the legal standard status of old notes to only 200 naira, amounts to total disregard and disobedience of the ruling of February 8th, which was extended further yesterday by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The misguided action of the Attorney General to mislead the President into engaging in this public violation of the order of the highest court of the land shows how desperate the policy architects are to cause national chaos by showing open contempt for the judiciary. Kaduna State, with the foregoing revelations, it is clear that our peaceful coexistence as a state and a nation is being placed under deliberate danger using the intentional combination of fuel and cash supply disruptions. These evil people, using the instrumentality of the federal government and the president as convenient covers, are willing to truncate our democracy because they have personally lost out. They are massively deploying resources and tools to defeat the political party that gave us all the platform to serve the country, just because they could not impose the candidates of their choice on us. On behalf of the Kaduna State government, I wish to assure you that none of you would lose the money you have in old notes. Let no artificial or illegal deadline frighten you. Whether you live in towns, villages, or in our isolated rural communities, do not feel stampeded to deposit your old notes into the banks. Hold on to them. Continue to use them as legal tender as ordered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. No deadline can render them worthless, ever. The law is on your side. The Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 in Section 20, subsection 3, and the Bills of Exchange Act both oblige the Central Bank of Nigeria to recognize your old notes and give you value in new notes whenever you bring them to the CBN, even in the next 100 years. Therefore, as your governor, I wish to assure you that the Kaduna State government, in collaboration with elected legislators, our traditional institution, elected local government councils, markets and traders associations, and so on, will help you collect, record, document, collect, and deliver all your old notes to the Kaduna branch of the Central Bank on your behalf into the new ones immediately after the elections. We'll also ensure the delivery of your new notes to your various locations without any hardship or expense on your part. We shall save you any panic and the stress of a long journey from your community to the CBN office in our state capital from March until the end of December 2023, if need be, by the grace of God. For the avoidance of doubt, all the old and new notes shall remain in use as legal tender in Kaduna State until the Supreme Court of Nigeria decides otherwise. I therefore appeal to all the residents of Kaduna State to continue to use the old and new notes side by side without any fear. Kaduna State government and its agencies shall seal any facility that refuses to accept the old notes as legal tender and prosecute the owners. If need be, we shall take further consequential actions available to us under the law.
Wow. So the question now is, all this hope that El-Rufai seems to be giving to the people, is it for his personal interest or it is for the interest of the people? Is it because he loves the people so much, or what is he actually aimed at? Because we need to check out for what is the intent, why he's going all out to ensure he protects the interest of the people. Because a school of thought is saying that actually this is a Fulani agenda that is out to ensure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the bullion van man, does not have the ability to go ahead and buy votes. Some other people are saying that this is about the personal interest of the governors who have piled up old notes and seems to have been frustrated because they do not have the ability to use the old notes to buy votes. And some other people are saying this is because of the disgruntled individuals who failed the primaries in APC and are finding every means to ensure that they truncate the process, they frustrate the APC from getting into power. Because if you listen to what El-Rufai has said, that the CBN Act Section 20, subsection 3, the Bills and Exchange Act, recognize CBN to recognize the old and new notes and give citizens value for their money whenever they bring it, even if it is 100 years from now. Here's what you need to know. The fact is, as individuals, we must know that when two elephants fight, the grass are the people that will suffer, because these visuals have the access to those new naira notes no matter how you look at it. So all we can say to you from this angle is that you need to be wise to ensure that you do not become a scapegoat. Do well to like, comment and share. Tell us what your opinion is. Tell us what you think about this whole blah, and we'll be here to serve you. Try to subscribe to our station, as Think Tank TV will be here to always cover up and give you relevant content that will get you informed and entertained. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.